I lose track of time. It's been a few days since the latest in regards to his self-imposed uh, game suspension for Jim Harbaugh that stands at 3 games. So what makes no sense to me here is that the NCAA and Michigan apparently negotiated at 4 games, and then the infractions committee stepped in to say, okay, this isn't necessarily going to fly. We're going to continue to investigate and wield our opinion and wield our ruling eventually. So I don't even know why any of that would have been public if there wasn't a final determination on what it would be. We all found out the day before Big Ten Media Days that Jim Harbaugh was going to be suspended for 4 games, and then it gets retracted. And now, the university basically did what has been the norm in this situation to try to get ahead of the situation, self-impose, uh, try to show the remorse and that the actions are going to be taken first and foremost by the athletic department, and then see where it goes from there. So, what are your thoughts about? We could go a number of paths on this, but just your thoughts overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think a majority of kind of the public that follow college football understands the reason that that was leaked the day before Big Ten Media Days. I don't think that was any sort of coincidence. I think you've seen a number of leaks from the side of the NCAA in Indianapolis with regards to this ongoing investigation. They even had a public statement around an ongoing investigation, breaking their own rules, might I add, letting us know that this was not about a cheeseburger. It seems like there are a lot of moving parts, obviously, with something as complex as this. I can tell you, just from a fan perspective, when it comes to this 3-game suspension, I think what Michigan is looking to do, and Jim Harbaugh here, is to ensure that, hey, look, if that suspension gets up to 6 games, Jim Harbaugh is not missing any Big Ten action, right? You missed the first 3 non-conference games of 2023. If the NCAA decides that 4 games is not sufficient and we have to do 3 in 2024, then we're looking at, hey, he's back for the Big Ten opener both times. The only thing about 2024 that may be a little bit tougher is that they welcome the Texas Longhorns to Ann Arbor week 2. Right. And so if Jim Harbaugh goes beyond a potential additional game or 2 in 24, he may not be on the sideline for one of the biggest non-conference games that Michigan's had probably in my lifetime. We'll see how Texas does this year, but that could be a loaded roster in 2024 for the Longhorns. So I think Michigan is just trying to get out in front of this, like you said, Mark. I don't know. There's a lot of shady things that happen in college football. Some of the infractions here for Michigan include, I believe, being on a Zoom, watching a workout for a recruit during the COVID pandemic, maybe in early 2020. I think there was some infractions that relate to having a off-field analyst coaching on-field during practice, which is a violation. And I think there are a number of guys that are on record from the Michigan program saying, hey, this analyst is doing a great job coaching me up, right? So unfortunately, I think that one's going to stick when it comes to what Michigan's wrongdoings are in this case. But also don't get it twisted. There's a lot of worse things happening at a lot of college football programs across America. So this, Michigan fans, not to say that it's a witch hunt, but it just feels a little like targeted, which is frustrating when we all know what's happening across the sport at this moment. So not going to be a conspiracy theorist by any stretch. If Michigan broke the rules, you got to deal with it. You got to take your medicine. But seeing some of the things out there, some of the rumors out there when it comes to some of the more recent developments in college football, it's a little disheartening to know that Michigan's kind of, dealing with a pretty large penalty here for some very minor violations. So that's kind of my take on it. I think we're all ready to move past this. I think the biggest question now is who's going to be coaching those first 3 games. You look at a guy like Sharon Moore, who's the offensive coordinator, O-line coach, been with Michigan for a majority of Harbaugh's tenure at this point, one of the best position coaches in America. Seems like the right fit. So that's the question that I think we all have now. I think that's where the curiosity is going to be for me as we get closer to September 2nd for Michigan's home game against East Carolina. But I think it's going to be good to move past this, really just play football and not talk about cheeseburgers in the NCAA and whatever penalties they decide to levy against the University of Michigan and Jim Harbaugh and his football program.
Well, unless I'm missing something, let me bring a little common sense to the situation in that, okay, we all know what the situation was with the pandemic in regards to if you're dealing with rules that are applied for the health and safety of people, then whatever technology is available and can be used during the pandemic should be used during the pandemic. So unless it was violating a recruiting guideline that's in place regardless, pandemic or no pandemic, then that one makes no sense to me. Okay. In regards to the suspension itself and how costly it's going to be for this football team, the most obvious and recent comparison to make is that Urban Meyer was taken off the practice field, off campus, off the facility for 3 weeks. So not just 3 games, but 3 weeks. And that's a whole different deal rather than Harbaugh. I'm guessing as of midnight on Friday night every week, he's going to have no contact with the team. And then all day Saturday, coached by somebody else. And then bam, it's Sunday morning and he's back with the team.